Man, and like he burns his jockstrap or something. I don't know. So Beata stays the execution. She's like, all right, but only because we used to fuck.
And used to fuck.
Well, they're not gonna fuck anymore.
They have to go live far away. Like, we're gonna give them we're sentencing them to like hard labor in Siberia, essentially. Like, we can't stop evolution, but we can retard it.
And retard it they did. And then Dr. Crusher finds a cure, so
everything's good.
Everything's
Dr.
fine.
Crusher, medicine woman, saves the day.
Saves the day.
She gets a lot of play. It seems like every episode she's got to solve some problem.
She's got that great hair. How can you not use hair?
Well, also they kind of downplayed this week the romantic tension between her and Picard. That does not seem to be in evidence. There's not a lot of her calling him Jean-Luc.
Well, I think she's like in like doctor mode
most of the time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, no, in this episode,
yeah, she definitely.
She's like, I don't have time to fucking flirt with you.
I don't have time to make doe eyes at each other.
I don't care that your forearms look like dicks.
Yeah.
That was a great pre-show line. We were admiring pictures of Patrick Stewart, and there's one in particular. Like he's looking very like tan and toned and ripped, and very vascular. And Becca said that his forearms look like dicks.
It reminded me of that It's Always Sunny episode with the dick flyer that was supposed to be a bicep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still,
true.
It's really easy to make that connection. It's totally confusing.
Next episode is 11001001.
I liked this one. I think this was my favorite.
This was my favorite too. Enterprise is kind of like they're getting like a tune-up at a space station, pretty much.
Yeah, well, they're also supposed to be getting some upgrades to the holodeck, which has been giving them some trouble.
Yeah, nice little callback to a couple episodes ago. Everyone's just kind of chilling out. Some purple dudes.
Well, they go to Starbase 74, so we actually get to see the Starbase model from the Star Trek movies.
Mm-hmm.
First introduced, I think, in Star Trek 3.
Yes.
So it's our first real glimpse of like inner Federation kind of like infrastructure outside of the ship, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
So it's kind of
well, neat. It would have to be. We're like 12 episodes in.
It gives the show a nice sense of scope because you actually see people in the offices as the Enterprise is docking and stuff, and the effects are dated, but it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
Pretty cool.
So yeah, but like you said, they're souping up the computer, messing with the holodeck,
the binars,
making it cool. Riker seems a little on edge. Like, it seems like he's kind of racist against the purple dudes.
Well, they're acting suspiciously.
Well, and then Wesley's like, maybe that's how they just fucking act, dude. Quit being so goddamn suburban.
Yeah, like
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're all for men's rights last week, but like purple dude rights,
purple
not
dudes
so much.
Who talk like Animal Crossing characters, like are assholes. We have they're like. They talk like Animal Crossing characters.
Yeah, welcome to Black Heaven.
Yeah. Anyways, Riker makes what I think is like a racist joke.
Does he?
Well, like it just seems racist. Like there's like nothing.
What was the joke?
There. Well, I mean, it's like he came up with like the punchline of a racist joke and just needed the setup because Geordi is teaching Data how to be creative, and Data's painting.
Right.
And he says something about like you need to record as much as is possible. A blind man teaching an android how to paint.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, it's not like
that's got to be worth a couple pages in the history book.
It's not racist, but
it's pretty hateful against the differently abled.
Yeah, it's just like, what's up, Riker? We know you hate purple dudes, but calm down.
Calm down against your friends.
So the purple dudes are like, hey, we're finished with the holodeck.
Plus, I mean, he's not technically blind, right? Like, he can see
Geordi
with that
is,
visor.
yeah.
But he can see with the visor,
He's
right?
like Daredevil
so,
blind.
I mean,
he can see better because of his illness.
Well, I mean, he can't see, like, normally, right?
No. He's getting fed information straight to his, like, neural transmitters.
And so he's like, oh, this is what's going on.
Right. But he has...
It's like Daredevil.
He sees like the Terminator would see. Like, he can make out different elements and things. He can see what things are made of. He's basically got, like, a tricorder for
so he's
eyes,
like the perfect abstract teacher. But awesome.
Great.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
You want to do some postmodern shit?
Hell yeah.
He's like, you want to do some Jackson Pollock shit?
Yeah, this would be like, what would it be like in the 2300s?
Classical painting.
I think they revert back to like...
Right, this is just classical style painting. It's all classical, but then you break it down into periods. So like, this is the splotchy period.
So the purple dudes Riker has them conjure up this like boozy 1950s NOLA jazz bar,
Bourbon Street jazz joint,
and he goes through a few foxy ladies before the holodeck creates one that he just really wants to fuck.
right?
He's like, oh,
Like,
she's
seriously,
I'd wank it to her, but blondes and jazz don't mix.
they go together like peanut butter and peas.
And then he goes to the next one. He's like, yeah, I'd fuck her, but make her skankier. And then the third one, he's like, oh yeah,
That's just
I'm
skanky.
catching something from her for sure. So he plays with the band, and then he dances with homegirl. Well,
Yeah.
what's her name?
a minuet.
Minuet. And he not so subtly asked her if he's able to fuck her.
Yeah,
Because what does he say exactly? He's like, how far can you take it, or something like that? And she's like, I can take it all the way. And he's like, score.
Is she French-ish?
Yes.
Or-
Yeah. Then
She speaks Greek, though.
Picard shows up to totally fucking cockblock him.
He shows up and he's like, "Oh, this is nice."
Like, he shows up,
offers and uninvited.
Yeah, he walks in, he's like, oh, this is dope, man. What's up? Oh, Riker, what's up, dude? Who's your lady?
Which begs the question, like, is it ever safe to use the holodeck for fucking purposes?
Yeah.
Apparently not.
Because it's not anything like, crewmen on board,
Yeah, like
Or you
the
can't-
bathroom on it.
Yeah. Like, Picard doesn't walk up and, try to open it. It's like, oh, it's locked. Oh, it's occupied. And they just kind of wait
They
out
need
there.
more
to
than
make
one-
a schedule for masturbation.
There's
Yeah.
also more than one holodeck, because Wesley's like, "Oh, he's on holodeck 4, sir."
Oh, okay.
So, like, he could have gone up to holodeck 6 and been like, "Make someone for me to fuck. Make it so."
So then he starts chatting up
That's just how he
homegirl.
gets off, cock blocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like-
And then, not even cock blocking, but, also, kind of, wiggling his way in. Because they start chatting all French-like, and they're, flirting hardcore. And it's like, hey, Picard, fucking have those purple dudes make up your own floozy to fuck, you dick.
Seriously. But Riker's pretty cool about it.
He's a lot cooler than I would have been. If that had been me and you would have walked in, you're like, ah, hey, what's up? I'm like, dude, fucking go
even
away.
worse, your boss walks in and starts fucking you. Like, if my boss showed up whenever I'm trying to get my fuck on, I would be like, fucking go away. This is my day off. You should not be here.
But she calls him. I had to do some Google, some Babelfish, some Google Translate.
Oh,
words.
did you actually?
She calls him sweetie. Calls Picard sweetie.
And he calls her
Bitch. No,
Damn.
no. Yeah, he's like, don't call me sweetie, you bitch.
And
that's-
she's like,
And she's like, I'm gonna turn
I
my
respect you.
attentions back to Riker.
Right.
You got some weird woman issues.
but apparently she's more lifelike than any holodeck creation before.
Yeah, they're
Like,
both just like, this is crazy.
they're enchanted by
I thought-
her. Talking about her like she's not
Yeah,
there.
she's like, she's really cool. Like the way she talks, the way she interacts with us. Isn't she awesome? She's like, hey, dicks, I'm right here.
I'm sitting right here.
I thought for a second, like when they were saying that, like, oh, she's like, more impressive than the previous holodeck, incarnations. She would have been like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like,
Seriously.
what's a holodeck?
Am
they're
I
like,
going to disappear?
Ooh.
We make this mistake at least once a week.
Uh,
This is the hardest goodbye.
so I guess they've got some antimatter on board.
Yeah, I think that the
That's-
core runs on like matter and antimatter instead of dilithium crystals, right?
Yes.
In this iteration of the ship,
So
because they haven't mentioned dilithium crystals
at all, like
once.
we got to go to some planet for some crystals.
Like dilithium crystals came up on an hourly basis in the
Yeah.
original series.
Every episode.
Pretty much every.
I was bitching about the price of gas.
I was like, yeah, when are we gonna get these dilithium crystals?
We gotta sell these women to these guys so we can get some dilithium crystals.
Well, there's an electromagnetic field that houses it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that keeps everyone from dying.
Right.
Well, that starts to deteriorate. It's going bye-bye. And LaForge and Data try to figure it out, but it's too late, and they have to abandon ship. And so the plan is to bail out and then zip the Enterprise away
So it can
from
go
any
boom.
planets because they're going to self-destruct. They're programming it to self-destruct. And the computer tells Data that Picard isn't on the ship. Like, what the fuck? He's like, where's the captain? And he's like, not on board. Like,
Oh, sweet.
we can leave. And so as soon as everyone's off, though, the field reforms. And everyone stands around like a Meanwhile, realizing, like, oh, hey, like, Riker and Picard aren't here. They're still on that ship, and it's still going to self-destruct.
Can they beam back on?
No.
Like, somebody on the ship would have to beam them on, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, how does that work? Like, they could, because they beam themselves.
Well, I think it's too late at that point.
Okay.
Because I think Data gets there.
And it's already warping.
Yeah, by the time they figure out, like, oh, the gravity field's reforming, but then they're like, well, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
And then it
so they're just gonna, like, let the old Enterprise just float out into space?
Well, they warped it to
get it away from the starbase, because if it blows up, it's like a nuclear bomb going on.
Oh, okay.
And it was parked in Stardeck, in like
Stardeck, whatever.
Dock.
Stardock.
It was docked.
I thought they were just littering space with
dead spaceships.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, at the Voodoo Hoodoo bar in Nolans,
right.
Riker's like, oh, goo goo gaga over homegirl. He's like, I could fall in love with her.
I could develop feelings for her like she's a person.
And Picard is talking about how, like, everyone puts up a front when they first start dating someone.
Right. Yeah, he's throwing shade on, like romance.
Like, just love. Yeah. He's like, yeah, well, like, I don't fucking fart on the first date, but that's who I am. I fucking fart all the time. I'm not gonna do it in front of her on the first date. Everyone is a fucking liar, you know? You're on your best fucking behavior when you first start dating someone. That's not who you really are.
You think she's gonna wear that red dress every day? No.
You think she's gonna
going out and getting fuck dressed?
You think she's gonna put on makeup every day? You think she's not just gonna lounge about in like
sweats
and pajamas? You know, hair in a ponytail. Bullshit. I gotta go.
Yeah.
I do. I enjoy the
makeup and sweatpants.
I enjoy the sweatpants look, hair in the ponytail.
A little more cash.
I like it cash. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like it for the ladies to, you know, get gussied up
from time to time.
But not a hard man, please.
So Roddenberry, after the third season, right, is no longer
alive. I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna say like involved with the show. I'm like, no, he's not involved with life anymore.
He's just done.
He's not involved with breathing.
His sexism can't hurt anyone anymore.
I'm
sorry.
So he tries to like dip out, and homegirl is like, no, stay. And he's like, nah, I gotta go, really. And she's like, please. And he's like, nah, I gotta go. And she's like, you gotta stay. And he's like, whoa, you're freaking me out like that. And then like, oh no, everyone's gone. And so they ask homegirl, and she's like, it's the purple dudes. They did this.
They did this to you. I can't give you all the answers.
So Picard and Riker make their way to the bridge, and they find the purple dudes dying. Like, at first they think, like, we're going to have to, like, commandeer the ship back home and get weapons and everything. Mm-hmm. But they show up, and they're, like, on the floor. They're all, like, cuddled up. Very adorable. Like,
they set the ship to self-destruct. They activate the self-destruct. Yeah. Then they beam themselves into two different places on the bridge for a fight.
Yeah.
And then, they find them all cuddled up and dead.
And dying, yeah. And so the Enterprise is now orbiting their planet, but because they're like living computers, it seems like.
Their thought patterns are more like binary code than anything.
And it seems that everything on the planet's turned off.
Right.
And so they ask holodeck homegirl what's up, and she's like, a star supernova around the planet, and they need
EMP wiped out the computers.
Like they need to turn off the main computer. They need to transfer the info from the main computer, turn it off to save it, and then they're gonna turn it back on. And then get that info back. So the Enterprise is just basically acting like a giant flying thumb drive.
Right.
So Picard and Riker, with some help from Data, who blamed himself for all this because he wasn't on the bridge.
Right, well, because he can always be working.
Yeah.
ABW.
Always be working.
But he chose to take time off, so he feels like it's his fault because he feels like he could have stopped it if he hadn't been so damn interested in painting.
He was off painting like an asshole.
With a blind dude.
The blind black dude. Bagger Vance style.
Double minority.
Did I just say Bagger Vance?
You did.
Bagger Vance. Let's watch that
Martin
movie.
Gaye.
Let's watch that movie. Let's listen to some Martin Gaye and watch Bagger Vance for next week's episode.
Let's not do.
So, anyways, they figure out how to transfer all the info back. The purple dudes.
They do it in tandem because 001, 00011.
Yeah, they all have to. They work in pairs. They come to, and Picard's like, "Why didn't you just ask us?" And they're like, "Because you could have said."
Better to beg forgiveness than ask permission, bro.
Okay, here's the thing. I hadn't heard that phrase.
Really?
Like until maybe